As we have another interview now with David Matsanga and our news editor Aaron Ochieng regarding issues that have been going on in society, and we're beginning with Ruto's case at the ICC. Of course, Deputy President William Ruto's case will be resuming on the 14th of January. That's next Tuesday. Week at the ICC. Tuesday. Yeah, that's Tuesday, and he will be filing. He's going to listen to the no case to answer motion.
Yes.
How do you think this will pan out, Matsanga?
First of all, the case was made for 2 days, but I think the judges and the chamber has found out that they need more time. The chief prosecutor seemed to have another good 3 hours on Tuesday, narrating her story, punching more holes in the defense case, saying that there is evidence. But we all know, from my point of view, I speak personally from 2008, I have said, the moment I saw all these things in Kenya, I weighed them, researched, and I said, this was fake. People died. 1,300 people died. But the chief prosecutor did not, and this, let it go in history, whether I'm dead today or tomorrow, they did not investigate properly the Kenyan cases. They just picked evidence, hearsay from pork joints and meat joints, put it together, put up a case. Now, if that case, because I know very well that in the ICC, there has never been, show me one case that has been beyond reasonable doubt. It's never there. Thomas Lubanga was sentenced on, by the way, I leave you the court to decide. Children were raped. I leave it to you. Taylor, one witness said, I leave it to you, the court. So the ICC itself is not purely legal. The ICC is political. So we expect a lot of political pressure that has been on a chief prosecutor who has spent 1 billion euros, 400 million euros on Kenyan cases, zero conviction, coming out with lies, faking up evidence, witnesses being coached by ICC, and they said that we can't come anymore by intermediaries. She has political pressure and legal pressure. So she has to deliver. So those who are talking about several other factors, oh, we are going, oh, we are, it's okay, but we must see inside what is her end game. The card. She has a card. This is a double strategy woman who is going to have, she has a strategy hidden at the heart and a strategy in court. So Karim Khan should attack that inside strategy. I'm judging free advice. Attack the inside strategy of the chief prosecutor. Don't attack the theatrics. There is no jury there. There is no jury for Karim to do any other gymnastics. Is they attack the inner strategy, because for me, with ICC, we parted ways a long time ago. I would, if I had powers, Michelle, I would just close it like today.
Right, and Aaron, let's get your views on this no case to answer motion.
I think this Ruto Sang case is now entering a very determining position now, whether it will now go to a full, whether the defense will now be able to put up a substantial case. But you know, this is now the make or break. They've already given their written submissions. Now the ICC, the judges now want to say, do you have anything else to add before we now make our own conclusion? And I think it is it's either going to be a time now whether we'll know whether Ruto and Sang are going to go full scale. This case is going to go full scale, or it is going to end at this particular juncture. But all in all, what David Matsanga is saying could be true. I think the way the cases have been going, we've seen the Kenyan cases just dwindling from one stage to another. And I would tend to agree with what he's saying. Probably the prosecution side, led by the former chief prosecutor, Louis Moreno Ocampo, probably did a shoddy job. And I wouldn't blame Fatu Bensouda. She actually inherited the case at a point where she wouldn't have done anything at that particular point. So even if a Ruto case, if they rule that you have a case to answer, I still think it is going to be a weak case for ICC to try and pin down Ruto and Sang. One thing that is critical is that witnesses have been dropping. We do not have witnesses, and I don't know any other case that someone can put forward without witnesses. In any case, I still think the Kenyan case at the ICC is a weak one.
All right, so let's speculate on the outcome. Should the judges say there is no case to answer, then what's the way forward?
I mean, that's the end. That's the end, and the suspect should watch that.
But what about the victims of post-election violence?
The victims. Why are victims going to cry or die twice? Is because they poor investigations. I've said it since 2008, 2009. People have hated me. I said procured witnesses. They nicknamed me procured. I said it, and I'm credible. Today I stand high. I'm happy, man, that it is the OTP has reached itself a point of diminishing integrity. It is gone. If I were Fatou Bensouda, Article 53 of the Rome Statute gives her powers to terminate, to say this case is a problem. It is killing our international court. When I went to Rome in 1998, in that cold winter, standing outside to get this court brought to the world, Matsanga, I did not know that this would turn as a monster. So she has discredited the court. She is taking witnesses. She is gambling on Ocampo's cheetah policy, where he came to name a cheetah in Kenya and go with the cheetah name. You see, this was not properly done. Look, Kenyans must be told the truth. Whether this case, there is a case to answer or no case to answer, there will be an appeal from each side, whichever loses. Let's be honest. These cases are going to go through up to our election. The strategy of these guys who did this ICC, and every time I tell these leaders, they think it is a joke. The strategy of this ICC strategy is to give the Jubilee government through up to election. You have one man limping with a case on his legs. Don't you see it? It is there. Whether it is a no case or case was finished, Fatou Bensouda will appeal. This appeal will flow into 2017. Look at that. So political organizations should now start thinking of what is being achieved. They will achieve, one, Jubilee will enter election time with one of the candidates, running mates, still in court. That is going to be there. These cases will finish in 2019. I bet they will not finish tomorrow. So we have a long way. But the biggest problem is this. Mine is I want the credibility of the court restored, so that African countries and other third world countries can benefit from the court. Victims to get justice. But the victims, looking at the Kenyan scenario, the victims might not get that justice, because we had 20 names, 14 names we don't know, 6 names were brought, 4 are gone, 2 are left. You see, Fatou Bensouda is now justifying a political background to say, I have 2, I cannot leave them. You see, that's pressure from these quiet countries that talk with us, smile with us with coffee, but they are telling them, don't leave them. So any tough lawyer, for me, attack the hidden strategy. Karim, watch this. The hidden strategy is not the open strategy. Fatou Bensouda has a hidden strategy, and that's the one the defense lawyers should go for. They should not just do, there's no jury there. Convince the judges that that strategy is the one we are not allowing to come into this court. And I will watch it on Tuesday.
Right. What I wanted to add on what you're saying is that, yes, it is true there is a political implication in this particular case, but I don't think it is as strong as during the other general election, where both the president and the deputy president, we did not even know the fate of this case. We thought now, first of all, we didn't even know if they were to be allowed to run into this general election. But on the political implication this time around, I don't even think Ruto is seeing it as a very big problem, because everyone is seeing what is happening. Already we ran the last general election when things were really hot. Now that even the case is sort of dwindling down to become a no case to answer, I don't think there's a very big, it is not giving Ruto a headache at all this particular time, if I may compare it with the last time. But what Michelle was raising is the victims. Yes, we know what happened in 2007, 2008. We know Kiambaa, we know this person died, we know what happened, we saw the chaos in this country. Yeah, so who was responsible for this? We thought maybe the ICC would come up with answers, but we are not getting the answers from the ICC. So what really happened? Is this something that we can just sit down and say, well, let's forget about it? That healing process has to be there. We need to know this is the person who is responsible for all these people who died, all these people who are misplaced. But are we going to get there?
That's the question.
I think you have a point there, Aaron. I have said it again. Kenya needs to do what we call redemption strategy. Healing, reconciliation, accountability. You must put some people who actually slashed people in court. That is not there. We have done very well on IDPs. Kenya needs to sit down. These people, lawyers who run around in the government institutions, they need to sit down and write a redemption strategy, present it to the world, that out of 9,000 IDPs, we have resettled 700,000. The two are these. Out of all these, we have taken 10,000 to court, charged them. Some are on parole, some are doing reconciliation exercises. We have not done it. And the more we keep on fighting, the more ICC finds its own. Look, Rule 68. Rule 68 of is aiming at President Uhuru's case. Rule 68. Ruto's case is going to be done on 69.3. And let's not lie each other. People, there are some people lying around there. Rule 69.3 is the one Osuji is going to use. You watch on Friday. It's the one they are going to use to hammer that case of Ruto. 68, why this woman is crying for it to come back, is because all the witnesses in the President Uhuru's case were picked by work report. So you can bring that back and they use recanted evidence on Uhuru's case. That is the strategy of the chief prosecutor. Then the people lie. They lie a lot. That, oh, we know this. No, that is the position.
Right. Whether
they like it or not, 68 is going to be used against the president's case. She has left the file open. So we look with bright minds, like some of us, we have moved to court to challenge the work report. It must be told, either the envelope is given to Michelle and Aaron, who are taxpayers. We need to know. So Kenya needs to have a redemption strategy. If there is no redemption strategy, the chief prosecutor will keep on knocking on this door of the Republic of Kenya until she gets somebody injured. So please, the ministries that are concerned, do something for the victims. So that the victims can feel comfortable that people who cut us, our limbs, our head, our ears, our legs, the Uganda style, is already done. Healing is done in Uganda. Konyi cut so many people, ears and so on, but we put a healing process. The international community has accepted on that one. So please, the victims also need to be known to know that there is a reparation.
Okay, now let's move on to Raila, his State of the Nation address on, was it the 5th?
Yes.
The 5th of the month. He addressed several things, especially with regard to the Jubilee government, hitting back at it, and there was a lot of response as well from the Jubilee side. But he said that the Jubilee government realized that it failed, and that's why it started having a strategy to rig the next general election. So let's begin with you, Aaron. What's your view on that?
First of all, I read and I watched the State of the Nation address by Raila Odinga, but out of whatever he said, I didn't see anything that would worry the Jubilee administration the way they reacted. I tend to think if I was an advisor to the Jubilee government, I would tell them to tone down or to go slow with whatever Raila. They are behaving as if they're in the opposition. They're in power. Jubilee is in power. Why wait for someone who is in the cold there to make a statement? Then you tremble. Why are you trembling? Why is Jubilee government reactive to what after Raila says something? It is now, maybe Raila is sitting down with his people and saying, now what next should we say? And then the Duales and the rest can come and react to it.
Okay.
I don't. They are behaving as if they are panicking. Yeah. If I was someone who could be listened to, I would tell them just wait. But opposition is scoring big. What Raila was saying was he was looking back at what Jubilee government promised people. And in the run-up to general election, he was saying, yeah, this is what you presented. You're going to do. Laptop, I don't know what. Have you done it? So he's telling the people the government has failed. Yeah. And yeah, true to his word, some of the promises that the Jubilee government promised, they have not yet fulfilled. But it shouldn't be something that the government should always be worried about Raila Odinga. Let them stay cool and let Raila talk. If they had kept quiet, probably wouldn't have all these reactions that are coming after.
Now, what I want to ask you now is that the claims of rigging have started a year before the general election.
Yeah.
How will that pan out?
But you see, somebody who really started it all was someone from the Jubilee government, the Shabal. He said we are going to win this election come what may, whether we are going to buy votes, whether we are going to steal. And you know, that is fodder for COD to come up and say, yes, you see, this is what they probably they did the last time. So they're also strategizing on what, but the country has always been in an election mode. If we are now going to election next year, it's going to heat up in the next few months, and we are going to, as you are seeing now, people are going to people's houses. Those are all political strategies for 2017, and I can assure you, it is going to, the temperature is going to rise up, and we're going to start seeing rallies and rallies and rallies.
All right, Matsanga.
Yes, I'm one of those who has been criticized for having said Jubilee did not have a strong communication strategy. But I'm this time very happy that the president's State House communication machine put some good English, which is now very good. But when you poke nose into the opposition instead of them poking nose, you must hit completely. On this one, Raila had actually picked marks on poking on issues. But the problem that comes is that the government should be stable in answering. They should communicate it to us before the opposition comes. They don't wait for him to talk. Please, part of the problem of Jubilee has been all their projects have been tied in legal wrangle. Uhuru can not deliver because everything is tied in court. One judge has sentenced this to put injection, laptop, injection, another one, injection, SGR, injection. So the Jubilee communication strategy should work around there to tell the world that, you see, we would do better, but there is an injection here. Don't wait for the opposition to pick it up. They are waiting, like next week. They are waiting. There is something they say they are bringing. You see, already they have set the program on Eurobond. The only thing I have problem with is that Mzee this time is not running like he used to run.
Submitting the names.
This is not the man I used to find in the capitals of Sweden, Stockholm, when we were doing those rebel activities together, fighting for democracy. Let him run with documents. We have been together fighting for democracy in this region. Let him run with document and say, this is the man who took the money, did this. In fact, I run to London and I chase that money quickly so that I give the anti-corruption system, the dossier, they pick him. So let's not rely too much on promises. 2, Aaron and Michelle, whether you say East or West, the ICC factor is still very present in all these things. Look at the people, MPs who are going tomorrow. If you have like 5, 10 MPs from court, people you are choosing them, why are you going there? There is also, the opposition is playing a card there. Time has come that opposition should shift to see ICC as an external factor that is destabilizing the government activities in Kenya. That is my position. There is somebody externally in Europe who wants Kenya to go to dogs. And he's pushing it every day. This ICC matter would have dropped a long time ago.
Yeah,
surely a case without witnesses, a case with dead witnesses, ghosts, you want to bring information back. Why for a country? You want it to be disintegrated so that we in Africa, in East Africa, Uganda depends on Kenya. People have been asking me questions, Aaron and my dear sister, why are you involved in this? If Kenya collapses, I am dead also, because we rely on Kenya to have all our imports, to have all my mother and other families to support themselves. So I am in here for a reason, but there is a problem that is coming externally, and Kenya needs to watch this. If we don't do away with the ICC issue, it will divide the people. People are polarized now. Some people are saying, why? I have got several text messages telling me that, why are you still defending this, that? Why don't you leave them? Why don't you leave? I have them, threats, but I still continue to do my work. But in a nutshell, I believe this country can be stabilized when the opposition is constructive, when the government listens to the opposition, ideas which are good, which they should do. There should be no harassment of the opposition, like some other countries where opposition has been harassed, that it has hidden in a hole, even to speak. That there is a vibrant democracy in this country. Okay, yes.
Right. And before we move on, what also came up in this State of the Nation address is the issue of the IEBC. Raila says the nation has lost faith in the IEBC, and we cannot have another election with the IEBC in the current state that it's in. And he's calling for the dissolution or disbandment of the IEBC. What, Aaron,
I think IEBC has a tenure in office. They have, you start on this particular day, you end on this particular day. I don't think Raila will be successful in disbanding IEBC because the term ends after this general election, this coming general election. We have a new CEO. We know what happened to the former CEO. We know the commissioners have a particular date that they are supposed to be in office and the time they are supposed to come out. Whether there is credibility of one or two or all of them, if the opposition has an issue, there is a process. But you cannot just disband the whole IEBC based on the fact that you feel that it has not it has not treated the opposition well. You need to point out what it is that you think IEBC has done, which commissioner, or if it is the chairman. You constitute a case, go to court, and then there's a process of removing a commissioner or a chairman. But you cannot disband the whole IEBC just because the opposition is not happy with the way they are running the affair. So I don't think it's a far-fetched dream that the opposition is, or Raila Odinga for that matter, is trying to achieve.
Right. Okay, so I wanted to move on really quickly because of time. The issue of Mudavadi, Amani National Congress leader, now says that he will be vying for presidency in the 2017 general election. What is your take on his candidacy, first of all?
Well, I don't want to dampen his is a free person in a free country. It is his country. He can vie for the presidency. But factors, was he successful presidency? Will he win? He has tried several times. Time has come when he should also be under some, either make a big vehicle for all people, inclusive, so that he can sweep that vote. But this vote, the Luhya vote, always is very elusive. I'm part of the Luhya community, so I know how elusive it is. It reaches a point when they divide into certain small clans. This is the Luhya from the other Bukusu, and then there is Maragori. They spoil it. So I don't think he might, if he tries. He has consistently, he's a clean guy. He has not got a record of other activities that we know of this or that. He can get there, but he should make, first unite and put a national outlook, not this party that is only looking at my Luhya vote. No, let's get a national outlook. That is one. Let's get inclusive politics that brings people to discuss ideology instead of discussing clans and tribes, or my tribe is eating and so on. We also want to go in and eat. That should not be the case. The other thing that I skipped to talk about is the question of the speech. You see, the ICC is also watching. The speeches down here are becoming inflammatory. And that could work as a factor. If they see that this is going towards the elections, and the speeches that are coming from leaders, these verbal exchanges, someone saying, we can even kill, we shall take this at any cost, we shall take an election. Those are inflammatory speeches. This lady is looking for something like that. And if there's a speech like the one, the state of address of the former Prime Minister, if you are in London, you think that this Kenya is in trouble now. And anybody can fear to come to Kenya because say, again, they started like this, it ended up that way. So these speeches must be toned down, and the people should speak responsibly so that you don't give ICC ammunition.
Right. Okay.
Those who are engaging in this, especially those who are pointing fingers at a court that does not have a jury, you are pointing fingers at the judges. These are the only savior there now.
Right.
Please.
I like how Matsanga will always go back to the issue of the ICC. But let's come back to Mudavadi now. Yes. He came a distant third in the 2013 general elections. Aaron, what do you think his chances this time?
If you look back at Mudavadi, the man himself, he's someone who has always looked like he's the neutral option for many. Like we know country is either Jubilee or CORD, but who is that other person that if you are not interested in the two, you would run to? Remember, he was a running mate in Uhuru's failed first attempt at the presidency. So, and even the last general election, he was seen as Uhuru and Ruto had kept Mudavadi at a very close range, just in case they were not to be allowed to run. I'm sure they are going to support the candidature of Musalia Mudavadi. But when everything looked like, okay, we can go it our own way, we don't need Mudavadi, you saw the way he was thrown out and all that kind of embarrassment. But this time round, I think everyone is strong on their side, and CORD is strong on the other side. So he can't just wait and say, okay, probably I would benefit from something. He has to put up something. But also we know in this country there are issues of coalition building. What can you bring to us? It might reach a point where if analysts look at the voting trends and see that probably Jubilee and CORD look like they are running neck to neck. So who else can change the game? This is now where Mudavadi will come in, and they will try and lure him into their side and say, okay, you please support this. So he is very strategic, and is very important no one can ignore the candidature of Musalia Mudavadi this time round.
Okay, and so then having Musalia pretty much between the two big parties, then where does the Luhya vote come in, the vote of the Luhya community? Will it maybe...
it is a deciding factor. The Luhya community vote is a deciding... That's why Aaron is right to say people are building coalitions, they are coming up. So we shall see whom to bring on board so that we hit the mark 50+1. And the one thing, politics, there is no permanent enemies. Don't be shocked. Yes, don't be shocked that in 2017 some people who are really permanent enemies team up as friends now to come and win.
The way we saw Raila and Kalonzo, nobody ever predicted.
The way when you saw Kalonzo in shuttle diplomacy harassing Raila, but they are together. So there are no permanent enemies here. You never know. You even don't know whether Uhuru could stand with Raila. You can't know. You don't know whether...
that will be an interesting...
Oh yes, people are looking for stability. What is more important today is stability, not rhetoric. People want Kenya stable. You have heads of state, 10 of them streaming in here. Why do you go on fighting every time? Because of pure small politics. Why? If there is stability, like the voting, that pattern that is taking place in Uganda, people are not voting democracy, by the way. They are voting in Uganda, they are voting peace. Nobody wants a gun again. People have had guns for over 28 years until some of us went and stopped them. You see? So nobody wants to take us to cross back to Egypt when we have crossed Canaan. So people here in Kenya are also going to vote. They want stability. So don't rule out this, that this could happen. The politics is changing now. Mudavadi could be a game changer. Raila could also be with somebody on this other side as a game changer, and they take the cup. They are looking for that thing called the presidency. You hit it, you are home and dry.
Right. Now, as we wind up, in today's paper, Mudavadi has been quoted saying that the war of words between Jubilee and CORD is a way of confusing the voters. And then we also have opinion polls that have come up in the past few days saying that the opposition is leading, or that the opposition is gaining traction, more traction than it did before. Then we also have these campaigns of Jubilee leaders going out to CORD strongholds to sort of woo voters. So do you think that there will be a shift with regard to voters, Aaron?
No, I don't think so. What Jubilee is doing right now is actually trying to see whether they can get something. Because if they are going to Mombasa, the coast region, that is an area that voted overwhelmingly for CORD. If they're going to Western Kenya, that's an area that voted for the opposition the other time. So they know they have their strongholds in central Kenya and other parts of the country. But what else can we gain? Even if we just reduce the margin that CORD used to get in Coast Province, that's a plus to us. And so you would try and say, okay, this one is already secured. What else can I get? And that's what the strategy that Jubilee is using. You've seen Gusii leaders going to Ruto's house. Kisiis, you know, they are not known. They can be swayed either way. They can vote for this side or this other side. So that is the strategy they are using. And for Musalia Mudavadi, what I would say is that the war of words is meant to confuse Kenyans. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because anyway, what I would say is that Mudavadi is also trying to get into the foray, so that people don't keep talking about Uhuru and Raila. He also needs to be in there so that it can be politically relevant. Lastly, you talked about you said Mudavadi and Jubilee.
The war of words is mainly what I was talking about, but the shift in voters was the main question.
I think
I don't think any government that is in place is always opposition will want to say they failed in doing this. So the opinion polls can work against or for for the government. But the opposition is right. It has to poke holes into what the Jubilee government is doing or is failing to do.
Right. I think the last one is, there's nothing wrong with people going to eat. Some things. In politics, is not only the empty rotary. You also give something. When the deputy president calls people to his house, it is his house. If he gives them a mbuzi or ng'ombe, fine. This scenario will be looking very nice if the former prime minister also has a very nice house in Kisumu. Should also start calling
his own people.
Some of us to go there. Nasis to own and dani what is inside there. So please encourage that dialogue. Don't say because Uhuru is in Mombasa, is not supposed to be there. He should pay. No. He's a head of state. He can go and do anything anywhere in this country because the constitution empowers him. I thank you. I will be on my way to The Hague, and I announced that Besuda, I'm coming.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We're in studio with David Matsanga and our news editor Aaron Ochieng, speaking about several issues: the ICC, Raila's State of the Nation address, as well as Musalia Mudavadi's bid to campaign in the next general election. That is the end of Weekend Express today. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Michelle Ngele.